answer. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Can you hear me? Please give your confirmations on the chat box, please. Thank you. Thank you all very much for your confirmations and the chat box. Let us stop the chat. Let us stop the chat. I welcome you all. Thank you very much. Let us stop the chat. I welcome you all to the second session of this Python course. Today is day 2 of Python course. So what's the plan for today? I'll be introducing you edit plus editor. How can we write comments in Python? What is an identifier in Python? What are the rules to be followed when you're dealing with identifiers? We'll discuss some of the keywords which are available in Python. How can we declare variables? And we will also learn about what is a function in our today's session. So this is our plan for today. As usual, before moving on, any questions, please raise your hand. I hope you have all attended the day 1 and this is the day 2 or second session of Python course. Any questions? Perfect. Perfect. So, who wants to talk to me regarding the concept what we have learned in yesterday? Please raise your hand. Who wants to talk to me with respect to the concepts what we have learned in our previous session? Or who wants to have a interaction? Please. Perfect. Good morning, Venu. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing great. How are you, Sundar?
Thank you, Venu. I'm doing good. Thank you. Can we have a quick
Summary?
interaction?
Yes, summary,
Okay.
right? It's kind of summary.
I have some questions to you. Okay.
Okay.
Can we write a Python program in a file?
Yes, we can write adding .py
Perfect.
extension.
So file should be with extension .py. One of the most important point what we have learned, my dear participants, you can write a Python program in a file, in an exclusively different file, but we have to be very clear that the file extension should be .py. Okay. I have one more question. Venu, we have written our first program, which is printing a simple hello world. Agree?
Right.
Okay. How did I write a program? I have opened the notepad and I have used the notepad as an editor to write the Python code. Agree?
Right.
Yes. Now, instead of notepad, I want, my dear participants, I want to introduce a one more better than editor, better than notepad, that is called as Edit Plus. My dear participants, what is an editor? Editor is nothing but the environment where we write the Python code. Look at the program which we have created, the first program which we have created. I think I have saved it in E drive 11 AM folder. This is the program. I have written it in a notepad file. So notepad is an editor. So what is notepad? Notepad is an editor where I can write some programs in my programs in notepad. Now, instead of notepad, I want to use a better editor called Edit Plus. I want to introduce a new editor called Edit Plus. Similar to notepad, we have one more editor called Edit Plus. So I'm now showing you how to use Edit Plus. My dear participants, please download this Edit Plus, install Edit Plus in your personal laptop or desktop. So Edit Plus is one of the most commonly used editor for Python. Instead of Notepad, let's also use Edit Plus, which is more comfortable because Edit Plus will identify the keywords. Indentation will be very, very easy for us. So Edit Plus will become much more comfortable for a developer. So let's get started. Let's learn how can we install this editor Edit Plus. If you want to install editor, you have to go to the website editplus.com. Yes. Inside this editplus.com, this is an official website of Edit Plus. Go to download option. Select previous versions. Can you see, my dear participants? Select previous version. And I want to download Edit Plus version 4 for 64-bit operating system. Okay, so my laptop is a 64-bit operating system. So I want to download. How to know whether your laptop is a 64-bit operating system or 32-bit operating system? Go to properties. You can see in my laptop, I have installed Windows operating system, which is of 64-bit. 64-bit operating system. My Windows is 64-bit operating system. So that is the reason I am selecting this particular Edit Plus for 64-bit. What is observe what file is getting downloaded? The exe file is getting downloaded. I think we are done. Exe file has been downloaded. Show in the folder. You can see this is the exe file which we have downloaded today. This is 5th of July. Now what I'll do, I will run, obviously if it's an exe file, you have to run it. Double click in it. Are you sure you want to install? Yes, accept. Are you sure you want to install? Yes. Where do you install it? Take the default location, C program files. Congratulations, setup has been successfully completed. So it's very, very simple. So my dear participants, I'm done with installing Edit Plus. I'm done with installing Edit Plus. Where can I see the Edit Plus editor installed? Let me close all these windows. Where can I see the Edit Plus? So go to Start, search for Edit Plus. Can you see here Edit Plus icon? Are you able to see it? Perfect. So you'll get this Edit Plus icon. So I have installed Edit Plus and I'm opening this Edit Plus editor for the first time. You have to accept the agreement. Just click on OK. Just click on yes. That's it. It is asking for entering the registration code. So please proceed with the trial version. Okay, I have the registration code. I'll share it later. Let's proceed with trial version. And trial version is how many days? 30 days trial version is available. Anyways, I'll provide you the key to activate that particular trial version. So I click on agree. Okay, so in my laptop, it's already agreed. Let me enter the activate it. 1 minute. I have the Edit Plus key. Don't worry, I'll share this to you. Now the Edit Plus editor is ready, so I can write my Python programs. Very important point. From now, we will not be using Notepad. In fact, if you want, you can continue using Notepad, or the best editor to use Python code is Edit Plus. Perfect. Next. I want to write a program in Edit Plus. I want to write a program in Edit Plus to print a hello world. I want to write a program in Edit Plus editor. Yesterday, I have written a program in Notepad. To be very clear, I want to write a simple program to display hello world, but not using Notepad. I want to use it using Edit Plus. In the Edit Plus, you can write programs, go to file. I want to create a new file. Now tell me which file you're planning to create. Are you planning to create a HTML file? Are you planning to create a C++ file? Are you planning to create a Java file? No, we are planning to create a Python file. So go to others option. Go to others option. Now here you will get an option where you can write your Python file. So you have option here. Yes, Python. I want to write a Python program. So I want to write a Python file. Select the option as Python and click on OK. Empty file gets opened. I want to write a program to display a simple hello world. So we have a print line. My dear participants, you know how to write a print line. So this is how to print some characters on the screen. I want to print hello world. So this is my program. I'm done with writing the program. I want to save my program. I want to save my program. Where do I want to save my program? I want to save my program in this particular location. In E drive 11 AM, yesterday's file was abc.py. Now I want to save the program with the name. I want to save the program with the name something like XYZ. File name can be anything. And what should be the extension? You know, the extension should be .py. So this is the file which I want to create now. I want to save it. So go to Edit Plus. You already have written the code. Go to File. Go to Save As. Select the location where do you want to save the program. I want to save the program in E drive in a 11 AM folder, and automatically as Edit Plus I have selected python.py extension, automatically it will add. You just mention the file name, that is let's say XYZ, and then click on save. I'm done with saving my program using Edit Plus. I'm done with creating this particular Python file. So this is the first step. We have learned how to create a Python file using a new editor called Edit Plus. Next point. Sunil, how can we run this particular Python file? Whenever you want to run the program, you want to run the Python program, you have to use command prompt. You have to use command prompt to run the program. We already have learned it in a previous session. To run the program, we have to go to command prompt. Let's open the command prompt. I'm now in the command prompt. The command prompt should point out to the location where the Python file is saved. My dear participants, I hope I'm very clear. Your command prompt should point out to the location where the Python file has been saved. My Python in E drive, first move to E drive, and then CD stands for change directory. Go to, I think there is a folder called 11 AM. And how to run the program? Python followed with the file name. What is the file name which we have created? The file name what we have created is xyz.py. xyz.py. Am I able to get the output? My dear friends, please respond in the chat box. Am I clear in showing you how to install Edit Plus? If yes, please type yes in the chat box. Instead of Notepad, we will be using Edit Plus in our day-to-day classes because Edit Plus is much more easy way where you can identify the keywords of Python very, very easily. Programmatically, developer feels very, very comfortable. This is nothing new what we have learned. We already have learned how to print some characters on the screen. The new thing what we are using is Edit Plus. Perfect. Thank you very much. Yes, perfect. Next. So what's our agenda? We are now comfortable with Edit Plus editor. If you want to Edit Plus editor, please send an email to support@Logic Labs so that you'll get the username and key. We'll share it to you so that you can activate the trial version of Edit Plus. Next. Next. Before showing you comments, I want to get into identifiers. Before showing you comments of how to write comments in Python code, I want to get into the concepts of identifiers. Sunil, what is an identifier? A name in a Python program is called identifier. Names are nothing but identifiers. What names? It can be variable names because we'll be using some variables in our Python programs. The names of the variables are nothing but identifiers. It can be class names. We'll be creating our own methods. So these method names, these are all called identifiers. Variable name is called as an identifier. Class, if you're creating a class, when we start object-oriented programming, we start creating a class. The name of the class is called as identifier. You will be creating methods. Like how you'll be creating variables, you'll be creating methods. The names of the methods are called as identifiers. Let's try to understand this program. Venu, can we have a talk, please? You will be on mute.
Yeah.
Please look at this line, a equal to 10.
Okay.
Agree? Isn't it? 10 is a value. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. We are storing this value 10 in this variable a, isn't it?
Right.
So a is called as identifier. Simple. Okay. So names are called as identifier. It can be variable names or it can be class names. In future, we'll be creating some methods. All those names, whichever we provide, are called as identifiers. Okay, Venu? Instead of variable name A, can I write variable name as Z?
Yes, you can.
Can I have variable name Sunil?
Yeah, you can have.
Yes. So variable name can be anything, isn't it? Okay.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. So my dear participants, I hope I'm very clear in explaining you what we mean by identifiers. Names are called as identifiers. Now you need to keep in mind there are few rules which you need to follow when you are using an identifier. You have to keep in mind some rules. So you have to keep in mind when you're creating an identifier. Small letters are allowed. Any letter between A to Z. An identifier can be capital letter. A variable name need not be small letter A. It can be capital letter A. Variable names can have numbers also. 0 to 9, these are the allowed numbers. So I can create a variable with the name A1 or A2 or something like that. This particular variable name, in fact, identifiers can also have underscores. So small letters are allowed, capital letters are allowed, numbers are also allowed, as well as underscore also allowed when you're creating variables or when you're creating identifiers. All these are allowed. Then what are not allowed? Identifier should not start with the digit. A variable name, to be more simple, when I'm discussing about identifier, let's with the context of variable. Variable name, when you're creating, you can have variables A, B, C, D, or any variable name, but it should not start with the digit. Look at this. This is a identifier, a variable. This is a valid. This is also valid. This is also valid. All these are valid, but it is case sensitive. So if you see, this is one identifier. This is a different identifier. This is a different. I don't think that there's only one identifier. There are three different identifiers. So small letter total is different and uppercase total is different. These two are different identifiers. If one letter is capital, then also it is a different identifier. It is case sensitive. Identifiers are case sensitive. Identifiers are case sensitive. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so you now know about identifiers. Okay. Now I want to open integrated development learning environment. I want to open integrated development learning environment. How to open integrated development learning environment? I hope I have shown you how to open integrated development learning environment. Open the command prompt. You have to use word Python. That's all. The integrated development learning environment gets opened. How to identify that this is an integrated development learning environment by using these three angular symbols. This is the learning environment. Now, is it valid? Can I write A equal to 10? Tell me, is it valid or not? It is 100% valid. Are you getting any error? They are not getting any error. Z equal to 20. Is it valid? Definitely it is valid. Can I write it like instead of Z, can I write some variable equal to 30? Is it valid? Definitely it is valid. So these are all identifiers. Can I write if equal to 40? Error. Invalid syntax. What is the problem with this? If is a keyword. Keyword is reserved words. What do you mean by reserved? We should not use that words. There are some keywords which are reserved. As a developer, we should not use those keywords. Got it? Those are called as reserved words in Python or keywords in Python. When you go to a restaurant, a particular table will be reserved. What does that mean? That means we should not use that particular table. In the same way, there are some words which are reserved. So we should not use those words as an identifier. So let's identify the keywords which are reserved. The total 33 words which are reserved. These are called as reserved words. People also call it as keywords. So these words, we should not use it when you're creating any variable. So that means you cannot create a variable with the name true. You cannot create a variable with the name false. You cannot create a variable with the name if. You cannot create a variable with global. You cannot create a variable with the name with. True, false, none, and or not, is, if. This, so these kind of variables, while, for, break, continue. Return, try, except, finally. These are the keywords. When you use these words when you're creating variables or when you're creating classes, you will get a error. Clear? So these are the list of keywords. Just want to share it to you. You should not use these words when you're creating any variables or when you're creating any classes or when you're creating any methods. Okay. And observe these keywords. One important observation. In all these keywords, there's one important observation. All the keywords are in lowercase. Global, everything is in lowercase. Lambda, yield, return, asset, final, everything is in lowercase. Only true and false are title case. Title case is nothing but the first letter is uppercase, the rest of the letters are small case. Only true and false and none are in uppercase. That means only the first letter is an uppercase, rest of the words are in lowercase. Remaining all words are in lowercase. That is one important observation. Clear? Clear about this? Perfect. So I have shown you what are the keywords available. Keep in mind, keywords are nothing but reserved words. You should not use reserved words in identifiers. Rest of the words you can use it. Clear? Clear about this? Perfect. Let's move on. Let's move on. I want to write a program. Participants, as I told you, we'll start from the scratch. Even a non-technical person can easily understand Python and start writing the Python code. But as the days move on, the subject increases, the number of lines increases, the concepts increases. The beginning, the programs will be very, very simple to understand. Basics you have to be very strong. Okay, so that's the reason very simple points also I will be focusing to be much more clear. But once the days progress, the complexity of the programs or the concepts increases. So, and there will be dependency between one concept to other concepts. There will be dependencies between one concept to other concepts. So whatever we are learning, maybe today will be helpful for tomorrow's class. Now, whatever we have learned on day 10 will be helpful for day 15 or something like that. So you have to be very clear, very focused. Each and every, even though these looks to be basics for you, very simple for you, but you have to focus. Any questions? I hope if participants, we are getting some messages saying that you have missed yesterday's session. If participants, if you have missed yesterday's session, please go to our YouTube channel and you can have a look at the yesterday's session in our YouTube channel, which is uploaded. Okay. The first couple of sessions will be uploaded in the YouTube channel. I hope you have a YouTube channel link, but you can just open YouTube and search for Logic Labs Technologies. So you get this. So go to videos. I think yesterday's day 1 video of Python batch number 150 is already uploaded. Even today, so participants, if you are attending today's session, this is the second session, this is the first session, I recommend you to go attend, have a look at the day 1 video in our YouTube channel. Even day 2 and day 3, the first beginning sessions are demo sessions. So these videos will be available in our YouTube channel. Perfect. Yes, Ahmed. Yes, you can speak now, Ahmed from Nigeria.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you for the lecture. I really enjoyed it. But one of the issues I just encountered is when I try to execute the print command. So it was giving me error.
Sorry, which command?
The print command.
Mm-hmm.
So it was giving me error. So I later discovered that I think I used an uppercase for the P.
Which package?
The uppercase after the.
Yes, you should not. I hope you got it now. Okay.
Oh, yes.
You have to be very specific. Okay. Be accurate. So take the advantage of recording sessions. Am I writing print in uppercase? No. Okay.
Yes.
So have a look at it.
So that is just the.
Please have a look at it. Error print is not defined.
Yes.
Agree? Okay.
Yes.
It's case sensitive. You can see here, that's what I have mentioned here. Python is case sensitive. You can see here, even the variables are different. So uppercase total is different and lowercase total is considered as different. So identifiers are case sensitive. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. I want to write a program to calculate sum of two numbers. I want to write a program to calculate sum of two numbers. Okay. Whenever I need to calculate sum of two numbers, please have a look at it. I want to calculate sum of two numbers. So what I want, I need variables. I need variables. I will need one variable. I want to calculate sum of two numbers. If you want to calculate sum of two numbers, I need one variable. I want to name that variable as A. And you can store some value into that variable. So I want to store a value 10 into my variable A. This is what I want to do. When you want to deal with values, you have to use variables. So I want to have a variable A and I want to store a value 10 to that variable A. Similarly, I want to create one more variable. I want to name that variable as B and I want to store value 20 into that variable B. Next, I will be taking one more variable. I will name it as C, and what I want to do it, I want to calculate, I want to add this value which is there in variable A and value which is variable B, and I want to store that particular value of sum of two numbers A plus B in this variable C. Clear? Clear about this? And then finally, what I want to do, I can store it in variable C or I can directly print A plus B, because in the print method also supports calculations. So I am calculating sum of two numbers, pretty simple. So I am doing it in the integrated development learning environment. Please observe here, A equal to 10. I'm done with the first step of storing value 10 into the variable A. B equal to 20. I'm storing the value 20 in the variable B. And now you can take a variable C and you can store A plus B into C, or you can directly print or say A plus B. So I'll do both the approaches. Using the print is very flexible. You can directly write A plus B in the print line itself so that it gets 30 in the output. This is one way. Or you can take a variable C and then in that variable C, you can write A plus B. What you're trying to do, you're planning to calculate sum of two numbers and you're planning to store it in that variable C. Correct. Okay, so you're planning to calculate sum of two numbers, storing in the variable C. That is done, and finally you can print C. Got it? So am I clear in explaining you how to calculate sum of two numbers as? So what are the new things you have learned in this program? First time we are using identifiers. We have not used identifiers yesterday session. First time we are started using identifiers. This variable A is called as an identifier. This variable B is an identifier. This variable C is an identifier. You also know how to create variables and how can we store values into the variables and how can you use those variables for your performing calculations. Next, very important point of observation. Please have a look at it. We have created this program. Create the same program in a Python file and run it. Create the same program in a Python file and run it. Can I write the same program in a Python file instead of writing it in learning environment? Exit. Can I write it in a Python file and run it? Yes, you can do that. For writing this calculation of sum of two numbers in a Python file and I want to do it. Yes, let's do it. And I'll be using an editor called Notepad, who will be helping me to write a Python file to calculate sum of two numbers and print an output using an editor called Edit Plus. Let's get started. So what I'm doing, I'm using an Edit Plus. Perfect. Jay Kumar. This is a file which you already have created. So let me close this file. I'll be creating a new Python file. Jay Kumar, please guide me.
Yes, sir. First, we need to take one variable. For that
No.
we need
in
to
the editor file new, I'm creating a new Python file. Go to others option, select the option called Python. This is a new Python file. The first step, what I want to do, I want to create a variable A and store it at 10 into that particular variable B. Second step, I want to create a second variable, store 20 into that second variable. Next, what I want to do, I can write print of
A plus
B, or I can also write C equal to
A plus B.
A plus B, and then I can also write one more print statement of printing C. Anything is possible. Okay.
Yes.
So one important advantage of Edit Plus is that you can see line numbers. Okay. Automatically, you can easily identify every line is having a line number. Okay. Now what I have to do, I have to save this program. What should be the extension?
.py.
file save as. I want to save it in the same location. E drive 11 AM and file name can be anything. It can be abc.py, xyz.py. I'll name it as my name sunil.py. So file has been saved. Can I see that particular file which is saved in the Windows environment? Yes, you can see here. This is the file sunil.py which is already saved. Now, how to run this particular sunil.py file?
You need to go to the command prompt
Okay.
and then go to the location.
This is already we are in the right location where the file is available.
Yes, 11
Now, how
AM.
to run this?
Python. You need to
Python.
enter the Python file name, that is sunil.py, and then enter.
Okay. Now, before running the program, can you guess what will be the output of this program?
According to line number 3, we are going to get answer 30.
Mhm.
According to line number 5, it is going to print value 30. Print C means
Okay.
C is equal to 30.
So what will be the output? Do you get 32 times or one time?
30 is one time, and another one is print C means 32 times.
30 will be printed 2 times.
Two times.
Perfect. Let's look at the output here. This is 30 because this is the output of line number 3. And this 30 is the output of line number
Line number 5.
5. Perfect. Now, can I have some spaces, Jay Kumar?
Where, sir?
Can I give some spaces here?
Oh, no problem, sir. I think
Is it allowed?
allowed.
Hmm?
Allowed.
Can I give some extra lines between one line to another line? Is it allowed?
Allowed, sir.
Let me make some changes. Can I run the program one more time?
Yes, sir.
Python.
File name dot py.
Perfect. So is it any extra lines is okay? Okay. Can I have some extra spacing also?
Yes,
Is it working sign? Perfect.
yes, working.
So you can have some additional spacing also. It's not compulsory that we should not have it. It's a high level user developer friendly. Jay Kumar. Python is a high level programming language. That means you don't flex syntaxes are very comfortable. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
So we have written a program of calculation of sum of two numbers. We have executed in the learning environment. We also have written the same program in the form of a Python file and we have saved it to get the results. Perfect. Very important point. Observation. We do not require to mention the data type of the variable. My dear participants, observe line number 1. The name of the variable is A. I am storing 10 in the variable A. Variable A, did I mention the data type? That means, did I mention that variable A will accept integers? Variable A will accept numbers. Okay, or did I mention that variable A is an integer? Or did I mention that variable A is a character? Did I mention any data type? You don't need to mention the data type. Just take the variable name. A equal to 10. Don't mention the data type. There are some programming languages. If you already have some exposure about some other programming languages, maybe in other languages, there is an option when you're declaring a variable, you have to mention the data type. Not required here. You don't need to mention the data type of the variable. Just you have to mention the variable name and the value what you want to store. That's all. We do not require to mention the data type of the variable because Python is dynamically typed data type. Yesterday we have learned about features. In the previous session, we have learned about features of Python. In that, there's one important feature. The Python is a dynamically typed programming language. That means you don't need to mention the data type of the variable. Data type of the variable is identified automatically. You don't need to mention the data type of the variable. You just type mention variable name and equal to what is the value what you're planning to store. Perfect. Okay. Let's open the learning environment. CLS to clear the screen in the command prompt. I want to open the learning environment. Okay. Before opening learning environment, okay. One important point to discuss in this particular Python file, sunil.py. One important point to discuss. Who will answer my question? Please raise your hand. My question is, what is A? Who wants to answer my question? Please raise your hand. Good morning, Sweta. My question is, what is A?
It's an identifier.
Okay, to be more specific. To be more specific, identifier can be variable, identifier can be class, identifier can be method.
It's a variable.
Correct. So A is a variable.
Variable.
Sweta, I have one more question to you.
Okay.
What is B?
B is also a variable.
What is C?
That's also a variable.
Why are you doubting? It is also a variable.
Okay.
Yes, you are right. Nothing special. Like A is a variable, like B is a variable, C is also a variable. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Line number 5, we have a print line, right?
Mhm.
Is print a variable? Tell me. No,
It's a keyword.
it is not a variable.
Yes.
It is not a variable. You guessed something right. You have just now guessed that it is a
Keyword.
okay. I think we have list of keywords, right?
Yeah.
True, false. While for continue, is there any print?
No, we don't have.
No,
No.
it is not a keyword. Okay. Now my point is, what is print? Print is a function. Sweta, print is a function. Got it? Variable A is a variable, B is a variable, print is a
Function.
function. First point you have to ask, Sunil, how to identify which one is a variable and which one is a function. Anything after a particular item word, if you're having opening brackets and closing brackets, that means it is a function.
Function. Okay.
How to identify function? When you're having opening brackets and closing brackets, it is a function. So print is a function. Okay. So what this function will do, it will give some output in the console. Got it, Sweta? The purpose of the print is to give some outputs in the console. For example, print I'm writing as hello. Now, when I run this program, sunil.py, what will be the output?
Hello.
We already know how to run the program, sunil.py.
PY.
No. Is it doing some functionality? What is the functionality of the printer? Print is a function. What is the purpose of that function? Whatever you mention, that will be displayed. Got it? So that is print. So print is a function. Now tell me in Python how to identify a function.
So whenever we have a closing and opening brackets,
Then it is identified as a function. Is A a function?
No.
No, it is a variable.
Variable. Yes.
Answer my question. What is type?
It's a function.
Correct. It is a function. How did you identify it, Sweta?
So because it is followed by a opening and a closing
So it
bracket.
is a function. Okay. The advantage of this in Edit Plus is that you can see functions are identified with a different color. Okay, agree? Isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Look at this. How can you open the environment, learning environment?
By typing Python here.
So now you are in the environment.
Okay.
Equal to 10. I have stored 10 in the variable A. Okay. What is type?
It's a function.
Function. Example of the first function what we have learned is
Print.
print. What the print is doing?
It's displaying the output.
Some character, some output on the screen. What that so? Did you create the function print or is it a predefined function? Sweta?
It's a predefined one.
Correct. We have not written our own program. We have not written our own function, right? These are predefined functions.
Function.
Like type is also a predefined function. Observe the result and tell me what type will do. Observe the result, Sweta. What is the result we are getting? Class int. Int stands for
Integer.
Integer. Now tell me can you guess what type function will do?
It will display an integer value.
Integer value, when I say integer value, it is 10. Is it displaying 10?
No.
No, it is displaying the data type of this variable.
Okay.
What is the variable you are using in the type function? A, right? Which you have created it. Have you mentioned any data type?
No.
No, because in Python, we don't need to mention the data type. Data type is taken automatically. And what's the data type of this variable A? It is integer data type. So Sweta, as a programmer or as a developer, you can create variables. When you are creating variables, you don't need to mention the data type of the variable. The data type of the variable is decided by the Python based on the value what you're storing. If you store integers, the variable A is considered as a integer data type. A equal to 20.5. Type of A. Now is A integer now?
Yes, floating integer.
It is not no, it is not integer, it is float. Integer is different, float is different.
Okay.
This integer, this variable is now what data type? Float data type. When you are creating the variable, did you mention that variable A is float? No. Am I right, Sweta? When you are creating variables, we don't need to mention the data type of the variable. The data type of the variable dynamically changes based on the value which you are storing. You may have a question, Sunil. Previously, you have stored a value 10. Yes, you are right. Previously, I have stored a value 10. Now I am replacing that value 10 with 20.5. You can change the values in the variables. 10 will be replaced with 20.5. That's how it's happening here. Next. True is a Boolean data type. In Boolean, there are two values, true or false. Type of A. What it is a Boolean.
Yeah.
So there are two important points we need to learn. How to identify a function. In the opening brackets and closing brackets, when you use it, that means it is to identify a function. Can you give me two examples of functions?
So print and type.
Print is one example of function. And type is also one example of a function. Print is used to display some characters on the screen. Type is used to mention to give you the data type of the variable. Agree?
Yes.
I have one more question for you, Sweta. How to close the environment? This is the integrated development learning environment, right? How to close it?
So exit, open and closing brackets.
I have one question. What is exit?
It's to come out of the idle.
I repeat my question. What is exit?
It's a function.
Correct. How did you identify it?
With the opening and closing bracket.
What is the purpose of this function?
To come out of the idle.
Perfect. So this is the third example of a function. Did you create this exit function or Sweta, is it a predefined?
It's a pre-existing one.
Yes, that's why it is called the predefined functions. So we now know three functions. One is print function, which we have learned. One is type function. This is something new we have learned today, which will mention the data type of the variables. And we have an exit function, which is used to close the learning environment. Thank you, Sweta. Thank you for the support. So a Python is a dynamically typed programming language. We don't need to mention the data type. We just mention variable and the value. That's all. The data type of the variable dynamically changes or identifies based on the value which you store. If you store 10, A becomes integer. If you store 20.5, the variable A becomes floating data type. If you store value something like true or false, it is a Boolean data type. Based on the value what you're storing, the integer data type changes dynamically. That's why it is a dynamically typed programming language. How many data types we have experienced? How many data types? You may ask me. How many data types we have experienced? We have experienced one integer data type. We have experienced a float data type. We have experienced Boolean data type. Okay, and we have a type function, which is whenever you want to know the data type of variable, we have a type function to know the data type of the variable. So we have experienced 3 data types. There are many other data types available. Please have a look at them. These are the following list of data types available in Python. Anyways, we'll discuss all this in detail. We have experienced integer, we have experienced float, we have experienced Boolean, but there are many other data types like bool, complex. So we have string data type, we have bytes, byte array, range list, tuple set, frozen set, dictionary, and none. There are many. These are the data types. Anyways, we'll discuss these data types in the coming classes. Okay. How are you, Soundarya? Good morning.
A very good morning, sir. Sir, in the above statement,
You can call me Sunil.
okay. So, Sunil, in the above statement, you have written A equal to 20.5, and in the next line, you have written type B. So it should be B equal to 20.5 and B, right?
You are right. Right. It should be D. Okay. Good observation. It should be B, and this should be.
So C equal to true.
No, is
Yeah.
it correct? You are right. Okay. Soundarya, I have one more question. Is that okay? Can we have a talk?
Yeah. Sure.
How to open the integrated development learning environment?
By writing Python.
Can you explain this line?
Yeah, A equal to 10, A is an identifier, so it's a variable. And we are storing the value 10 in the variable A.
Correct. Can you explain this line?
Yeah, so type is basically a predefined function. So it will show, it will give the data type. So
It will
as
give the
data type,
correct.
the data.
What is the data type of A?
It's the integer.
Correct. Answer my question. What is ID?
Don't know, sir. Don't know.
You know it. Please think and answer my question. What is ID? What is print?
Print is a predefined function.
How to identify? How did you identify the print is a predefined function?
Okay, because there are opening and closing brackets. So
Now
ID is
answer my
also-
question. What is ID?
It's a function.
Correct. Did you create this function or is it a predefined?
Sorry?
Did you create this function or is it a predefined function?
No, it's a predefined.
Please observe the result because this is what we are learning for the first time. It is giving some number, right? 140. Okay. Now let's try to understand what is this ID function. We have created variable. Do you agree?
Yes.
The name of the variable is A. Do you agree?
Yes.
When you create a variable, will it consume some memory?
Yes, it will.
It will consume some memory. Okay. This is nothing but the address of that particular memory location. Okay.
Oh.
Every variable will consume some memory. Am I right, Soundarya? Every memory will have some address. So whenever you want to know the address of this particular variable, you have to use a function called ID.
Okay.
What will be the output?
Output will be the memory.
Output will be the
Memory.
not memory, address.
Yeah, the address of B.
Memory, correct. Is that address same or do you think you will get a different address?
Obviously, different address.
Obviously a different address. Is it different?
Yes, it's different.
You can see 648. This is
The last digit
96968. So address is every variable will have a different address. Am I right?
exactly.
And in case if you want to know the address of that particular variable, you
Mhm.
have to use a ID function which will return the address of that particular variable. Okay, look at this. Type is a function. ID is a function. Print is a function. Now, what is the important point? What we have learned, Soundarya, is how to identify, how to differentiate functions and identifiers. Agree?
Okay.
Whenever you are having opening brackets and closing brackets, immediately you have to spot it out and you have to keep clear that it is a function. Every function is having some specific functionality. We have a type function which returns the data type of the variable we have experienced. We have an ID functions which returns the address of that particular variable, and we have a print function we already have experienced. It will return some values. Am I right, Soundari?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Thank you very much. What is a float data type? Numbers with decimal values are called as floating point values. For example, this 47.9, 12.7. These are called as float data types. Regular numbers like 20, 20, 15, 95. These are integer data types. These are floating data types. Yes, we already have experienced variable a equal to, you can have some decimal value. And if you want to verify what is the data type of that particular variable, we have a type function. It returns a float. So floating is nothing but and then values which are having decimal values, numbers with decimal values. Boolean data type. Okay, Boolean data type are having only two values, either true or false. Okay, to represent logical values, true or false, we have to use Boolean data type. When you're dealing with Boolean data type, the only thing you need to keep in mind in Python, true or false, these are the two values of Boolean data type. T should be in uppercase. T should be in uppercase and F should be in uppercase. So when I have explained about the keywords also, I hope that I have mentioned this point. All the keywords are lowercase, but only true, false, and none. T in uppercase and F should be in lowercase. So when you deal with Boolean values, you have to keep in mind that T should be in uppercase, and when you're dealing with false, F should be in uppercase. So what I'm doing, I'm storing a Boolean value true into the variable A. If you want to verify the data type of that particular variable A, have a type function which will return the data type of that particular. It's a Boolean data type. If you write A equal to true, it is explaining you by mistake. You have to use T should be in uppercase. Such a intelligent is Python robot, or Python robot is very intelligent. It has understand that T should be in uppercase, and it is giving you a hint message that you have to write T in uppercase. Just few lines of code to understand how our Python behaves. Few lines of code just to understand how the Python behaves. You have to get tuned with our robo. Python is like a robo. So we have to get tuned with our robo. We have to understand how our robo works, and we have to communicate to that particular Python robo so that your actions will become very easy. C equal to, I'm not performing any arithmetic operations like 10 plus 20. I'm not performing some arithmetic operations like 10 into 20 or 10 divided into 20. Now I'm writing A greater than B. That means your Python will understand is A greater, it will evaluate this particular expression A greater than B. That means 10 greater than 20, which is false. 10 is not greater than 20, it returns false. So that particular false will be stored into the variable C. And then if you want to write print of C, that means it is showing as false. You're not performing any arithmetic operations. If you write 10 plus 20, definitely it will do some calculations, and you're not performing arithmetic operations like division or multiplication. You're just comparing. Okay, evaluating some expression. So when it returns either true or false, here it is false. So variable C false will be stored, and false is of that's the reason false will be displayed. And these are truth statements. I hope in every programming language we have it. True plus true should be true. True minus false. What should be the results? No. Very important point. Who wants to talk to me with respect to outputs of these statements? Please raise your hand. Who wants to talk to me with respect to evaluating these lines 2 plus true, 2 minus false, false minus true, false minus false, and true multiplied by false? Please raise your hand. Shravan Kumar, good morning. How are you, Shravan? You are now allowed to unmute and talk. You are now allowed to unmute and talk. Please observe here. I am calculating true plus true. The result is 2. The result is number 2. You can see number 2. That means true is considered as numeric value 1 and false is considered as numeric value 0. So 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 minus 0 is 1. Am I right, Shravan? Are you understanding the code?
Yeah.
1 minus 0, sorry.
Is 1.
What is the error we are getting? Indentation error. What does it mean? Can you see there are some additional spaces? You should not give
Yes.
any spaces. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So when you
Okay.
give some spaces and write when you write something like print of hello, you're getting an indentation error. So after 3 angular symbols, there should not be any spaces. There should not be any spaces. Okay. So
Okay.
2 minus false, that means 1 minus 0.
1.
Okay, again the okay, one we remove the indentation. You're from which location, Shravan?
Hyderabad.
May I know your experience?
Yeah. 4 years.
4 years of experience.
Yeah.
Which platform?
Actually, I'm now working on big data.
Oh, very good. Okay. Any specific reason why are you planning to learn Python?
Actually, I have interest to learn Python. So
I think Python is also used in big data analytics, right?
yes, correct.
You know Python or is the first time you're learning?
No, it's actually previously I've joined, but due to some other reasons, I'm not able to cover
Which
all.
batch? My batch?
I think yes, 138 or something.
My batch, previous batch.
Yes,
You
yes.
can say false minus 2, 0 minus 1. That's
1 minus 1. Yes.
False minus false. 0
0.
minus 0.
0.
One into 0.
0.
So how many sessions you have attended in my previous batch?
I think 3 to 4 only.
That's it.
Yeah.
What about
Due
this
to some
batch?
other. Yeah, for sure I'll cover all.
Okay.
All.
So these timings are comfortable for you.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. How do
Thank
you
you,
know
thank you,
about
sir.
this institute?
Yeah, my friend that suggested me.
Recommended, no?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
So my dear friends, this is what our agenda for today's session. We have learned many more concepts. As you know, day by day, we'll be adding more and more concepts. You know how to create variables. You know what it means by dynamically type. I have introduced 2 frequently used functions. One is ID function, which will return the address. And we have a type function, which will return the data type of the variables. You know the list of keywords. You know all the functions, whatever we have used till now in all sessions are the predefined functions, and you know how to identify the predefined functions. Okay, so this is day 2, and using the same link, you can attend day 3. This particular recording session will also available in our YouTube channel. And if you want to decide if you want to complete the registration process, you can go to our website, logiclabstech.com, and you can go to upcoming batches. There's an option called upcoming batches. So inside the upcoming batches, what we have learned, this is batch number Python. This is batch number 150. In here, you have the option called click here to buy now. And then you can buy this course for 3,999, where you will have access to all the recordings. There is a WhatsApp group. I hope you are already in the WhatsApp group. My dear participants, if you are not in the WhatsApp group, I strongly recommend to get the updates about this particular batch. I strongly recommend to join the WhatsApp group using the link which I'm just posting in the chat box. Yes, Soundarya, your question, please. I can see your hand raised, Soundarya. Any questions? We cannot hear you.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, it is clear now. Yes.
Sir, while clicking on the link of WhatsApp, it's only showing loading.
I have just posted in the chat box. Now pick up that link in the chat box and try now.
Yeah, still it's showing loading.
Mhm. Are you using from your laptop or you are using from your mobile phone?
From my mobile phone.
You are not in the group?
No, sir. I'm clicking on the link, but it's only showing loading.
So that means you have not joined the WhatsApp group. You are unable to join the WhatsApp. Agree?
I'm unable to join the WhatsApp
Okay,
group.
so you please send an email. You have, I hope you have our organization email address.
Okay.
Sunil@logiclabstech, support@logiclabstech.com. Okay. So please mention your contact number. So we will add you to that particular WhatsApp. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
So one more thing, how to in the command prompt, how to clear the screen, like the CLS I have typed, but it's not
Correct.
working. It's showing that the CLS is not
CLS
defined.
will work in the command prompt. It will not. You are talking about in the learning environment, integrated development learning environment, right? Am I right, Soundarya? So there's no clear screen option in the learning environment. Learning environment is only for a couple of days, and rest of the exams will do it in the Python file itself. Okay. So there's no option to clear this. Thank you. Thank you, my dear friends. I hope you have enjoyed the session. See you tomorrow using the same link which you have joined today for the day 3 for much more upcoming concepts. Yes, Shruti? Any question?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. You can hear it.
Actually, that is it possible to create our own functions?
Correct. Like how we have used predefined functions like print and type function and ID function. We can also create our own functions. We will be doing that in the coming classes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all. See you tomorrow same time using the same link. Have a good time. Thank you very much.